Hello, a podcast on Metroidvania games blows into your ears. This host, Thomas Blight, of the Inverted Castle, with friend Eric Fox.
Man, the only poems I know involve men from Nantucket. Sorry, dude.
That was my second choice for introducing you.
Of course. But, no, we're going a little classier this time with a game about haikus?
It has haikus in it. The main character is named Haiku. I wouldn't say it's about haikus.
I mean, you have to look between the lines. But no, yeah, our game this week is Haiku the Robot. You have to get all of the words, especially because it's 5 syllables. Developed by Mr. Morris Games. I believe this is a solo project, for the most part, and also a Kickstarter endeavor.
Cool. I did not notice when it was getting kickstarted.
Me neither, but I certainly noticed the incredible length of the credits.
Yes, and also the Kickstarter room that you can find.
Yep. Yeah.
That maybe clued me in that maybe this was kickstarted, you know.
And a few of the character designs that seem like, oh, this was a reward. But that's just from years of playing indie Metroidvanias and stuff. You kind of get a feeling for when something was gifted to a fan.
I mean, they have their names credited underneath the character name.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious.
Shh, they don't know that yet.
I don't know why we're dwelling on this Kickstarter-ness.
Yeah.
It's a pretty normal thing.
It's a very normal thing, and it's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I would say.
I certainly motored through it. I think you did too.
2 sessions, 7 to 8 hours total for the 100%. It's
Oh, geez, you did that in 2 sessions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that? Was I not supposed to?
I mean, I don't know your life.
Yeah. And damn straight. It's gonna stay that way, young man. But no, it's a very briskly paced game. I think it serves well for the scope of what it's doing. Do you want to kind of take away go ahead with what the setup is for this particular?
Yeah, I mean, the setup is somewhat nebulous, as many of these, like, atmospheric narrative games are. You come out of some kind of stasis chamber.
Add one to the TV tropes page of you begin by waking up.
Yeah, a sort of important thing. Black entity expels from the stasis chamber, and then you wake up. You are a small robot with a sword, and evidently all of the other robots have been infected with some kind of virus, or not all, but many of them.
Yep.
And just attack other robots randomly now.
They're going hollow.
Yeah. Yeah, over the course of the game, you can sort of piece together some details about what's happened in this world. Evidently, humans did a bad and caused a calamity that wiped them out.
It's like, I love speculative science fiction. It's just so wild and impractical.
And now robots have built their society underground and essentially have replaced humans. And then the robots started all going haywire because of this virus. And that's bad.
Yeah, we don't like that. As Robot the Haiku, we're actually against that, and so we take up our sword and are gonna solve it at the behest of a couple of the current denizens of this, again, post-apocalyptic kind of style of place. So it's a lot of ruins and factories and factory ruins.
Mostly just by cutting things randomly. We're I don't know. Nobody ever solves problems in games by, like, repairing things. It turns out that hitting people with a sword long enough will fix all of our problems.
Yeah, and the first item you get in this is a wrench, but you only ever use it on yourself, and boy, howdy do you use it on yourself. As I might have mentioned...
This is a metaphor for the selfishness of protagonists. We have tools to repair, but we don't use them on anything other than our own.
Instead, we'll just jam it inside our gullyworks and crank off in front of God and everyone.
Yeah, and I guess, I don't know what else we want to talk about the plot of this. We could also get to it later.
Yeah.
But that cranking to heal is somewhat interesting in that it costs money to heal. Not very much.
No, in fact, I would say it is so little as to basically be inconsequential.
Except it is sort of consequential in that you lose half of your money on death. Unlike, say, a traditional Souls game, you cannot go and corpse run to pick it back up.
Yeah, it's gone forever.
And so, like, if you fail on a boss enough, you will run out of money to heal. You also can deposit your money in a bank, which is a bird.
It's just kind of arbitrary, I guess. Like, I don't know why a bird is taking... And your money is just a bunch of scrap parts. And it just...
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, that's true.
No kind of... Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if there's, like, a joke here that I'm just not getting, but...
I don't know. But yeah, I guess frequently fell into this trap of being like, oh, I've got so much money, I need to deposit it. Oh, now I'm in a boss fight, and I have 0 spare parts to deal with.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Which you can also attack the bird's roost to get spare parts. Although I think that will break it eventually. I did not push my luck on that because I didn't want to break them.
Me neither. Both in terms for, I was worried that, this might have lasting complications. But also, personally, I didn't have money problems in that way. You can, definitely if you're getting stuck on a boss, not being able to heal is difficult. But, because this game is a lot like Hollow Knight in a lot of ways, but in particular, because healing, takes a minute to, crank up, you don't really have that many opportunities to heal in a boss fight regardless.
Yeah, although it does have partial healing, which makes it somewhat easier because you can heal and then move out of the way of an attack and then heal. Right? You can get the pip halfway up.
Yeah, and then just come back for it later, assuming you don't get hit again, and then I assume it goes away?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, we're talking about, to heal a pip, you have max of 4 HP at the beginning, you can get some more standard heart containers. It costs 9 scrap to heal a pip, and you're getting more than that from basically any given enemy, except for some of, the really, really, easy fodder enemies.
Yeah.
And yeah, because you'll usually be running around with hundreds of the stuff.
Yeah, I compulsively banked it, and then I realized long after I had passed the point of being able to buy everything,
yes,
that I did not need to bank it anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say, I found that, there's no reason not to bank it unless you expect you're going to need it for, a boss encounter, because any given shop will just take it right from your bank store. It's fine. And if you're not constantly dying and losing troves of the stuff, you're going to be able to afford everything in this game, halfway through. Yeah.
Which, it's an interesting system. Right, so the banking sounds like it's targeted at people who really don't like the idea of losing their souls or money or whatever in a game, right?
Yeah, and you can only do it at certain points. It's not like every save point has an associated bird, and I think there are a couple of places where there's a bird and no save.
Yeah, but the thing where you can't heal if you run out of money feels like that's kind of the opposite, making people afraid to bank a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's not that big of a deal.
I'm sure that, that's the idea of, that's should be the cost of just banking all your stuff is, okay, now you can't heal. It's just that there's only a very specific circumstance in which you can't reasonably just get enough money to heal almost instantly.
Yeah, I mean, the couple times that I did actually hit 0 and then immediately go to a boss, I was like, I don't really want to backtrack or fight these enemies every time I want to attempt the boss, right? That's kind of annoying. it's a complaint people have often of like Souls-likes of having to fight things on the way from the checkpoint.
Yeah. Like I've always been of the opinion like you should just run it, and if you can't, then all of a sudden that checkpoint becomes an obscene amount of time. Even though it's not that much time, it feels bad.
Yeah. And I mean, like, for this, it's like, okay, now I need to, like, take a couple swings at these enemies on the way so that I'll have money to heal. Every boss has a, like, midpoint break where you get an opportunity to heal. You can't, unlike in, say, Hollow Knight, you can't hurt them further, which was something Hollow Knight let you do.
Yep. Yeah, this during that time they are completely invulnerable, and it's just like, you may as well heal.
Yeah, the only things you're going to be doing are healing and let your cooldowns cool down. Or not cooldowns, sort of.
You have a single heat gauge where when you use your special abilities that aren't just swing your sword, it cranks up your heat a little bit, and if you overheat, then you can't use any of them until it cools down.
Yeah, which is essentially a stamina meter,
yep.
Right, in other games. I weirdly didn't like it as much as just having a stamina meter. But I don't understand why this bothered me more than a traditional stamina meter.
I won't say that I had the same problem, but I can kind of see how it's not as clear when you're running out for this like little gauge in the very, very top left corner to like swing counterclockwise to red, and then like to like instinctually know when you're like running out of stuff.
Yeah, and like a stamina meter, it punishes you a lot for hitting 0,
mm-hmm.
in that it will slowly turn down and you'll be overheated and can't use any of your other abilities. You can still jump and attack and do like wall jumps and stuff.
But that's it. You cannot dash or blink or explode or what other things can you do? Is that it? Grapple, right. The thing I never found until I was already basically beating the game. Cool.
Yeah. So I guess that is a pretty good segue into the things you can do in this game.
Yeah.
You talked about that. One of the other things that doesn't require the use of cooldown energy is turning into a ball.
Oh, yes. You do get the morphing ball.
Yeah.
Take that, Hollow Knight.
Yeah, you get Morph Ball. In this game, it's just on a button. There's also a nice utility perk that just turns you into it whenever you're on the ground.
And there's another one that turns you into a saw blade while you're in it.
So there's the ball, there's...
Again, tight spaces.
Yeah, lets you into tight spaces. There's bombing at your location, which opens up some paths. It also lets you Morph Ball a bomb. Funny story about this. I had not found the double jump yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Found a bunch of places that were like up. And I was like, hey, there's a Morph Ball bomb. It lets me Morph Ball in the air. Can I? Yeah, I can do this. I can quickly Morph Ball, then bomb, then get up on top of things.
Yeah, it uses an absurd amount of heat, so you can't like do it a lot, but there are like a bunch of the places that are supposedly double jump locked you can kind of get early by doing this.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because I did a whole bunch of these before I even realized there was a double jump in the game, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting double jump. It's a little clunky. And then I got the double jump and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just sequence breaking.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Look at you. The little boys are growing up.
Yeah, and then there's the grapple, which brings you like very fast across a screen. You interestingly, as opposed to something like Crystal Dash in Hollow Knight or like Shine Spark, you can get out of it at any point.
Yes, and it's also instant. Like you just hit the button and then you're like zooping laterally, like just completely horizontally across the screen until you hit a wall or an enemy or the end of the screen.
Yeah, although I got it after the double jump, I wasn't really clear if the ability to jump out of it was part of the double jump, and it wouldn't surprise me if it were.
Yeah, I also, listen, I was on my way to fight the first final boss. And I didn't even have this thing.
Yeah.
Like it is.
There's also. Or do you want to say more about the first final boss?
Oh, I was just going to introduce the lateral teleport.
Yes, that is the next thing. So there is a basic dash or a basic slide move which gives you some iframes. It uses heat.
Yeah, and early on you don't get many before you gotta hold off a little bit.
Yeah. It gets replaced later on with a lateral teleport. That teleport can also be used in the air where the dash couldn't.
Yes.
Which makes it way better. I love air dashes.
Yep, air dashes is good. It's also how I got around a couple of the supposedly like, oh, you can use the grapple hook for this, and like, nah, I'll just have enough heat and just keep blinking and jumping out of that and blinking again. That's how I got through all of the bunker.
Yeah. Yeah, it let you spam it a lot. Like you can just like you'll fall a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can air dash as much as you have heat to afford. So that also, I guess there are some places that maybe I was supposed to solve with the grapple hook, but instead solved with just mashing on the dashes.
Yeah, if you mash fast enough, you can get some of them that are definitely grapple hook specific because they got like the death zone like in a very tight corridor. I definitely broke one of those things in the hot zone. I think the hot factory. Right. Okay, so there's the hot zone, there's the factory zone, and then there's also the hot factory.
the incinerator, the factory, and the lava factory part. I don't actually remember that one's name properly, but yes.
Me neither. Yeah, there's one there where there's like just lava just below you, and if you're not like mashing like TAS only, I'm just saying I'm that good. It was like one of those things that was just weirdly hard enough that I'm like, I know there's another ability, but I can get this now.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I remember that one. I did have the grapple hook for it, and the grapple hook actually moves you a little too fast for the falling lava.
No, not the falling lava part. It's the part underneath it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you go through falling lava where you're supposed to like teleport between the like goops dropping from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And you jump and you try and wait for your opportunity. And then to get back, it's just like, okay, you got the challenge, now zoop.
Yeah, I also didn't teleport in between them. I grappled, jumped, grappled, jumped, grappled, jumped as I caught up to the lava.
Yeah, it makes sense. I just had I didn't have that tool.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the blink is very good because we'll actually teleport across like between walls, like just right through them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you use the bomb offensively much?
Never.
I tried it out like once or twice and managed to hit maximum heat, and I was like, I don't know. I think my sorting is working well enough that I'm not going to learn how to do this properly.
Yeah, it's a thing you can just kind of like flit in for free as long as you're just hitting both buttons. But the fact that the bombs in particular probably use the most amount of heat kind of dissuaded me from ever using them, just in case I want to, get out of dodge and dodge.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like speedrunning strategy that involves like threading the needle as close as you can to overheating using the bombs or something like that.
Possibly not in any percent. I did take a look at that, and that's mostly just efficient sorting with the crit charm on it, and I think it maybe a bit, but it's not an important part of it.
Yeah. Speaking of charms, we should talk about this. Yeah. So somewhat similar to Hollow Knight. I don't know. It's hard to escape comparing this game to Hollow Knight, but yeah, I don't love doing it all the time.
It's like the inspirations are clear because like you mentioned how like, okay, yeah, there are times when the boss screams and you can now start a healing or whatever in between phases. If you swing downward, you do pogo off of enemies. You are a little guy exploring a vast, once great civilization of people who look like you. You have a method of self-healing by spending an additional resource. You have medals, or in this case, chips, which are just buffs that you have a limited amount of, but you can expand your slots.
Yeah, this one has 3 differentiated types of slots. So you have your offensive abilities, your utility abilities, and your defensive abilities.
Yeah. More or less, yeah, those are the categories.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of blur them a little retaining your spare parts is in the blue defensive category. Mm-hmm. I mean, I never touched those.
No, of course, because why would you ever lose your parts? You just don't die. It's easy.
The offensive ones basically break down into improve your sword, improve your bomb, or shoot electricity.
Yeah, you can have different things where, like, either there's a rotating, like, bullet shield of electricity around you, recharges every so often, or you leave behind little electric mines, or you get just every 10 hits or so, you do double damage for a critical hit.
Yeah. There's also the make your dash hurt things.
Yeah.
And then the utility ones are mostly your, like, magnet up money, or get more money, or move faster when ball.
Yeah. Move faster when ball was a mainstay, and also the get more money until I realized I'd had too much money.
Yeah, I think I ended the game with like 4,000 in the bank. Oh, and I was like, easy. I way overestimated the amount of money I needed in this game.
Yeah, there's no huge thing to buy either. The most expensive thing is probably like 500 or so.
Yeah, I think there's a heart piece that's 650 or something like that. But,
sure.
Yeah, it's not hugely expensive. I mean, like, maybe that's balanced for people who are losing a lot of their money and they're not banking aggressively.
That's the thing, is, like, you have to understand that we're God's gift to gamers, TM. And
oh, yes, of course.
We're so
the guy who can't figure out how to grapple hook in Environmental Station Alpha, clearly God's gift to gamers.
I mean, the example I was gonna give is you didn't learn how to honk your horn.
Look, you don't need it.
You don't need it, technically. But you should have it. And I guess this is just it's a system that's like, okay, well, this is a fail-safe if you're losing a lot of money, but there's only 2 things you ever actually need to buy. And even then, if you're a speedrunner, only one of them, which is $200 a pop. You can either get heat resistance, which lets you enter the hot zones, or water resistance, which lets you move through non-electrified water.
So, yeah, I was wondering about that. It seemed to me like you could probably bypass both of those, but it requires you to do some legwork.
I believe the water there are a couple places where there's like a waterfall, and I don't think it can move through that unless you have the sealant. But
can you dash through them using the teleport? Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, I wonder if I had gotten that one piece that decreases my overheat, the one chip that decreases your overheat and lets you use the abilities in the hot areas.
Oh yeah, in hot areas normally you cannot use any of your heat gauge abilities because it's hot. You're always overheating, but you can get a chip that pops that back down and you can use it normally.
So I did this the opposite way, and I haven't gone back and like played through and checked it. But I was kind of wondering if I had gotten that, would I actually need the treatment for the heat? And then
you do start losing health, I believe. So if you're quick enough, maybe. But I think there are enough long stretches that's just going to be one hell of a hell run.
Oh, I'm just assuming that if you have that, it counts as not burning.
I assume that you can just use your abilities, which will help you move through faster. But I would assume that the chip is not going to just make you also immune to fire.
But yeah, and then the other thing is, if you have the teleport, which I got the teleport before I actually went anywhere in the water area, but I already had the sealant.
Yeah, the very first thing I got after wall cling is teleport.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get it very early if you go in that direction just on a whim, but. Yeah, I assume you can get through.
You need the ball to get it, don't you?
Yeah, you're probably right. I probably had the ball. I just don't consider the morph ball a significant upgrade anymore because it's something you.
That's fair, because you need the ball to get to the bug that lets you light the sunken wastes.
Right. Yeah, and it's down in the sunken area. Oh yeah, another nod to Hollow Knight is that there is a dark area where there are burrowing enemies that you have to follow behind.
It was a little funny because I was like, wait, not only is this Deep Nest, it's in the same place on the map as Deep Nest. Like, you couldn't have put it on the right-hand side?
Yeah.
At least? I don't know. That's a silly complaint.
This isn't to say this is a bad thing. It's just very funny to see how obviously the inspiration is.
Yeah.
And if you've already played Hollow Knight, well, I mean, hey, this one's a decent sequel.
Yeah. Let's not just say this is like plagiarism or something.
No.
Many people can have a fire zone or a dark zone.
Yeah. Also, the ability to pogo off of enemies by swinging your sword down should be standard in all games.
I actually never noticed that you could do that.
What? That was key to my strategy of avoiding many bosses.
No, I just dodged. I don't know.
Hell, one of the bosses has a very specific anti-that measure, where if you're pogoing off him, he'll jump at you instead of doing his usual saw blade attack.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first thing I did when I
did it.
realized you could swing in different directions is, okay, can I bounce? And sure enough.
Yeah, sorry, I think I was talking about trying to teleport past the
the water.
waterfalls. I feel like it might be possible, but I don't know. It would be cool if it was, right? Like the idea of multiple ways you could get past those. And honestly, I don't really love the pay $200 to get fireproofing or waterproofing.
Yeah, it was a little arbitrary, and they're both in the exact same place. You can get both real easy. Just once you find the place, just like, okay, here are the keys to the zone. Thank you for playing.
Yeah, I would have preferred if those were actually more like the Varia suit or the gravity suit type thing of like that is a reward in of itself.
Yeah, just put it somewhere. Like, it doesn't even need to be a boss locked. It just generally feels better to have found it of your own volition rather than pay a guy. Even though ostensibly you had to find the guy of your own volition. It's one of those feeling things rather than just what mechanically it is. Context is important.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I don't know. Metroidvanias where you can buy important upgrades. It's fine.
Yeah, theoretically, you can just grind out enough money and then go to the end of the game.
Yeah.
It'd be weird, but but yeah, like the thing is, like, I assume you can get through the water zone just fine without it. Just from what I'm thinking, like, yeah, between teleporting and the grappling hook, if you have both of those, I don't recall any places because there's no underwater section. It's generally just there's just a blanket of water on the floor, and that's the worst it'll throw at you for those sections.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that basically what's going on, you're not going under
the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, no water zone, really. Just a wet zone. It's damp. The moist dimension. But, like, what was interesting is that I could not really tell what the intended critical path was. Like, it seemed like whatever sequence they're going for is kind of just a shrug and go wherever you want.
I mean, it seems like it's somewhat open, right? Especially with the abilities that can sub for each other.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so getting the bomb lets you go some places that you might have otherwise needed the double jump.
Right, and if you got the grappling hook, then you can get past a few places where you can't teleport, although I'm not sure if teleport locks the thing. Like, I don't know for sure if this is the, like, actual case. It just felt like I always had, like, just a bunch of different places I could explore if I wanted to backtrack all that way, instead of just following the path that I kind of just arbitrarily chose at the beginning.
Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty open. I think it sounds like we actually took this pretty similar arbitrary paths.
It seems like we were being guided, even though there's no, like, map marker of, oh, here are the main, like, important places, and just kind of head in that vague direction. You're kind of just left to, there are doors in places you haven't been yet. Shrug.
Yeah. I mean, like, so you get the light, and you can buy the two treatments to make you waterproof and fireproof at basically the same location.
Yep.
Right? That opens up 3 zones.
Pretty much immediately, and you can also, like, you're already going to, like, a 4th zone if you want to go get the morph ball, or the train unlocked, which is fast travel.
You need the morph ball to get to those 3, I thought. So
Okay.
I presume you've already done Pinion's Expanse. I think that there is a mandatory path early on.
Okay, yeah.
And I think going to Pinion's I'm forgetting which one of Pinions in the Factory actually gives you the morph ball.
They're very closely related. Also, Pinion's Expanse is kind of small in comparison.
Yeah. And then once you have the morph ball, you get those three, the game pretty much opens up. You can go wherever. It sounds like we both were like, hey, we got the light, let's go to the dark zone.
Yep.
And
Notable.
Get the teleport.
You cannot go to the dark zone without the light. There is an elevator that goes down, and the lever literally does not exist until you have the light source.
Yeah, there's no wandering through Deep Nest with the lights off because you've memorized how this works.
Yeah, it's one of those arbitrary roadblocks where, like, if you're really crackerjack at this game, you might want to do it blind. But I think it's like, usually we're not like super hot on this kind of thing, but it seems like a necessary evil of don't let players just fall into Deep Nest.
Yeah, I think it's acceptable in the case of, like, do you really want someone who, like, it's, I guess the trick is making it hard enough to do by accident.
Yeah,
I think. So it's like, okay, so I have studied this game. I am going to go in there without being able to see anything and get through the zone. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hi, I am guy this is their first game.
Hi, guy who this is their first game.
And I managed to press down at the right spot or whatever, and now I'm in total darkness and I can't find the way back out of total darkness.
Yep.
That blows, right?
Yep. Like, maybe if, like, it's... Because once you hit, like, a save point, then that's where you're going to respawn to. And, of course, you want to hit a save point, because they're bastions of safety and healing up, and, like, they're good, except now you're stuck and blind. I will say that the fact that the lever literally doesn't exist and it's a fairly small room, you can theoretically be like, oh, there's nothing here, and just kind of, it doesn't stick in your mind as being important. Like, it's a dark room, like, that'll be like, oh yeah, I got the light source for it now, but there's nothing in that room, so maybe I'll go somewhere else. But
yeah, I guess
it's a very, very minor concern that probably doesn't even bear mentioning.
Yeah, so, like, I kind of ping-ponged around after getting the teleport. I went up and did part of the last bunker. I did part of the rest of the factory. I did
last bunker last.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get very far through the last bunker. Okay. Maybe I could have if I knew to just try dashing across the chasm. But I did not. I finally... I think I hit the lava area and was like, nah, I'm not going to finish that. Or not going to do that right now. Finally went into the water area, got the double jump, and was like, oh, I have spent so much time doing the bomb jump. I bomb jumped up to the first tree.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I was like, no, why did I do this?
Because you'd have to wait for your cooldowns, like,
yeah,
fairly frequently, because that's a bit of a climb.
Yep. Yep. And then finally got the grappling hook, and then did the last bunker and the lava area.
Okay. What was your time? Because I know you kind of balked at me finishing this in 2 sessions.
I mean, it wasn't that much longer. It took me, I think, 20 hours. It's more that you just sat down and played for 6 or 7 hours or 8 at a time.
No, I'm saying total 4 hours apiece.
Oh.
Yeah, I 100% of this game in 7 to 8 hours. That's what I meant.
That is fast. Okay, I thought you were saying 16 hours, which seemed more reasonable when I put in 20 hours.
Yeah, you just said 20 hours, and I'm now just kind of reeling at, wow, that's a lot of waiting for your heat to die down, my dude.
I don't know. I was taking my time. I was exploring things. I tend to, whenever I figure out that I can get something from backtracking, I backtrack.
Yeah, I have a very different approach of... I'm just gonna keep going, and then I'll sweep when I'm done with, like, whatever critical path. Like, I try not to backtrack until I have to, and I'll try and do it in this one big sweep of, okay, here's all the stuff I missed.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that were hard to locate, but
When I learned that I could bomb jump, I went and did what turned out to be a optional boss.
Okay.
Or I think it has a heart piece behind it, in the factory.
Sure.
And that one's a pain because there's the lasers. It's the weird camera fly one. Big Brother is watching you.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
That one's annoying because to get to it there are lasers, so you have to use the teleport dash out, quickly switch to a ball, bomb, get up there, and just doing that, I was not reliable enough to do that without trying a couple times, and so every time that would take all of my heat. I would just sit there being like, gotta wait for the heat, do.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, I know exactly the room before, and I can picture it in my mind, and the fact that you didn't have double jump is just that's one of the things where it's just like, well, clearly this is too hard. I'm not wasting my time yet, but no, I didn't get to that point because when I discovered you can bomb double jump, I was in the water zone and just kind of found the exit point from where you're supposed to get the double jump first, and then almost immediately found the double jump. I guess I didn't fall into the trap of being like, oh, I can go anywhere with this bomb double jump if I want to spend 20 hours.
It's not that long. You just need to pace yourself. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently I was speedrunning this game and didn't know it yet.
I mean, I still felt like it was a brisk 20 hours. I didn't feel like there was very much in the terms of dead weight. But as we've also seen, I'm pretty sure I'm just slower in general on all Metroidvanias.
Yeah, no, I'm the one who naturally gravitates towards trying to just do it as efficiently as possible. I just double checked my Steam achievements and said, you did 100% of the game, so I don't think I missed anything.
Yeah, I played it on Switch, so no achievements for me.
A lot of the rewards are achievements only, basically, for some of these things.
That did make some of the NPC quest interactions feel a little empty.
Yes, that's where I was going here, because there are a bunch of NPCs. A bunch of them are backer designed, or just they have names like Limerick and Rondell and Verse, because this game has a theme, you see.
And I can't believe you've forgotten Splunk.
I'm sorry, I forgot Splunk. He's the toaster.
Yes, Splunk is the toaster who is very what's his name in Hollow Knight? Maybe it is Cornelius. I don't know. The guy who gives you maps in Hollow Knight leaves papers around. Splunk leaves toast in his path.
Yes,
to let you know that he's around.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you'll see Toast, because Toaster's Toast. Thank you, Mario. And you'll find him in 5 different places, in sequence. But it's very possible, I had to look it up, to just miss an encounter or just take a different path, so you've already explored the area he was going to next. But yeah, you can keep finding him, and he's just on his little merry adventure to find himself, I guess, find a home. And the end of that quest is he's found a home, and an achievement pops up. Yeah,
I was kind of expecting there to be some kind of in-game reward, so it's just that never really went anywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, because I think we've been spoiled by getting these sort of extrinsic rewards for just doing stuff, doing anything in the game. At least the cassette robot lady, she'll start playing some unique music when you do her quest, but that's also mostly just an achievement quest. After you get all of the heart pieces, the dude that forges your little pips of health, he'll just leave the train and then go visit his brother, who is the poet of the game.
Yeah, where you can buy haikus. And also, this is a kind of dumb thing, which also goes into this, expecting rewards that are not intrinsic. I was like, oh, you can spend money on this?
Mm-hmm.
There must be something if I spend all the money on this.
There is an achievement.
And yeah, not in the Switch version. There's no achievements.
Are you saying his wordsmithery is not a reward in and of itself?
I mean, I probably would have appreciated it more if I weren't kind of skipping through them to
just thumbing
get
through
to
it,
what's
just
at the end.
shoving money down his throat, just like, no.
Give me more haikus. You've got something at the end of this, I swear.
And he's got like 20 haikus. It's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah. Felt a little empty, especially the equivalent of finding grubs or all the Jinjos, or I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, it's the optional, like,
gold Skulltulas.
Every so often there's like a mini like puzzle / platforming challenge to or like just to seek something out, to grab a power cell. There's these little like yellow and colorful things that are clearly important, and when you grab them they leave behind a little like twinkle, so you know, okay, there was a thing here and you got it, which is nice, but it doesn't leave it on your map, which sucks. Trying to find all of these and trying to find out which place I hadn't been yet was a pain, but getting them all.
Oh, you didn't know. Oh no.
What did I not know?
There's a map token for it.
Oh, I probably didn't find the dude.
So, after the second end of the game,
yeah,
if you go back to the location of the first end boss, I've forgotten his name, the like wanderer with the walking stick character.
Yeah, he was kind of like, he was also kind of, he'd just pop up in every new zone and kind of like give you a little like, oh, look at this place, and just give you a little spiel about it. But yeah, he's an old guy who's also exploring, and he'd give you different map tokens for like, oh, here's a thing to help you know where save points are, and here's one where the bird statues are.
Yeah, he gives you a map token that just shows you where the remaining power cells are.
That would have been nice to know. I did not look it up.
Yeah, I went to look up a map because I was like, I'm missing one, and I just have no idea where it is. It was in the dumbest spot. It was in a place that does not require any platforming to get to. I just accidentally didn't notice that I hadn't taken that path.
Yeah, for me, it was a couple of places that required the grappling hook, which I didn't get until the very, very end of the game, and couldn't remember every spot that was grappling hook only, because you can always get around it a different way. Yeah,
so the power cells lead to the power cell needing guy to make... I'm not actually sure what that was. A time machine?
It revived somehow.
Teleporter?
Yeah, it revived their significant other, I think, somehow.
Yeah.
That's what he needed it for. But every time you give it one to him, he'll crank out some scrap for you, some money. That's fine. A couple of times he'll give you a heart piece.
Yeah.
Like, they're not called heart pieces. We're just calling them that because that's the industry term, I think, at this point.
Yeah, we're too lazy to learn things, I think apparently.
I honestly can't remember what it's called. A tank part. I don't know, energy tank.
Yeah, and so I assume that also gives you an achievement. It felt a little empty on the Switch.
Yeah, like, it also felt empty to me, because, like, that's, like, the game-spanning big Chivo hunt. Or not Chivo, but, like, big collectible hunt. And for it to end in, like, not even like a chip upgrade or like another thing you can equip for some effect. It's literally just, thanks, dude. And it's gone. There's no change to the ending. It's just, you helped out an NPC from the good of your heart.
Yeah, that's something I didn't actually think to check, is if that changed the ending.
Nah, not that I could see.
Cool if that had changed an ending.
No, but the endings as they are already kind of thin, I will say. I don't know that there's much they could add on to it.
Yeah.
Because, like, the thing is, you're for the ending, you're trying to destroy this virus, right? And that's the first ending is you find the last of the supercomputers, essentially. There's 4 of them. You defeated the corrupted first 3, and then you fight the biggest, baddest one.
Yeah.
But then there's like a twist where the first 3 actually turbo-corrupted that one on purpose.
Yeah, that was... I don't know, that like, cutscene was not as clear to me as I would have liked.
No.
Of just like, oh yeah, here's our deep, dark secret. We maybe shot black energy at this one. I don't know.
Yeah, and also I think like the virus is somehow related to like organic life, and so that thing was like protecting the last like bits of like flora. I think, or it was. Regardless, you go down to the foresty area, and the 3 things you had previously fixed, you then fight all 3 at once. So it's like a triple tag team boss battle for the final encounter.
Yeah. Oh, I think... okay, this is things that I hadn't really quite put together, so maybe I'm wrong about this.
Sure.
I think the 4th one was... Like, the 4th one was responsible for the bottom section and bringing organic life back. If the notes in the research lab are from that 4th one, they were also trying to bring humanity back.
Gotcha.
And that may have been why the robots were like, no, we think humanity is not something that should come back.
Honestly, I'm with the 3 robots. Man, true ending is the bad ending. God. Because I don't know if you've noticed.
You killed them all, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's also sort of an implication in some of the places that this is all cyclical anyway, and so your preservation of the organic life is just going to lead to an organic group evolving that is humanoid that will eventually make enough technology to doom themselves. Then that will cause the rise of a robot society who will then recreate the organic life.
Second verse, same as the first verse.
Yada, yada, yada.
So
very much in the Dark Soulsian way,
mm-hmm.
You didn't really fix anything.
No. Man. I didn't realize I could do something other than link the fire. God. Yeah, there should have been a... see the 3 guys just kind of leave. That's an ending too. Sure, but...
But yeah, and one thing that I didn't really understand out of all this is what the heck was Haiku's actual role or purpose?
Yeah, you kind of, like, insofar as anything's explained, nothing is kind of made clear regarding your origin other than you're the dude with the sword, so it may as well be you. This verse guy keeps talking about how you're the other half of something, but everything's so kind of vague, cryptic, or just intentionally unexplained. So... I don't know. You'll fill in the gaps yourself. Why do you think Haiku is so dang special?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a guardian.
He's a robot specifically made for humanity. Humanity's robot.
Yeah. I kept expecting there to be something that would hint at Haiku's purpose other than they have the MacGuffin sword of Virus Be Gone.
Yeah. Like, honestly, maybe it's just the sword possessing the robot.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, it's, like, this is, yeah. Like a lot of these games, as it turns out, it's more about atmosphere rather than direct storytelling, and so you just kind of, you feel through the areas and what they mean. Actually, speaking of story, the way it's presented in terms of text, this is just completely a UI kind of gripe that I had, is that the font seems weirdly out of place. Like it feels like, I don't know, not a game font so much as, oh, this is productivity software font. Like, this is just very clean and like kind of jarring. Like, it's clean and high res, but also just kind of just plain white text on a blue background.
That never really bothered me.
I wouldn't say it bothered me, but it did kind of just like, every time something would pop up to like explain what your new tool was, it was like, oh right, this is it felt non-diegetic enough that it really kind of clashed with what was otherwise a fairly like really clean and nice pixel art aesthetic.
Yeah, I can suppose I can see having a problem with that. I guess there's the other side of things, which would be like Environmental Station Alpha, where the text really fit the world, but was also kind of obnoxious to read at first.
And that was before they started using ciphers at you.
Yeah. Speaking of ciphers, actually, there's some robots who speak with garbled text.
Oh, right.
I didn't actually try breaking a cipher, like seeing if it was a cipher that you can break and understand what they're saying. I haven't seen anyone else on the internet do it either.
Yeah,
so maybe it is just gibberish.
Like, the thing is, I kind of assumed it was just gibberish until the game kind of forced me to assume otherwise, just because the text and the things NPCs say never really factored into the gameplay all that much, and I'd never found anything that would lead me to be able to decipher it myself.
Yeah.
And it's just like one zone, so I think that was just that particular settlement was, oh, these people just don't speak common.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like, that's the Inferno zone, or the incinerator. It feels kind of weird, the incinerator. Like, looking back, I'm like, there wasn't a boss here.
Oh, right, yeah, but there was a cult.
Kind of expecting there to be something more happening here.
No.
I don't know. For a while, I thought I had missed part of the area. And I was like, oh no, that's actually just a pretty short area.
Yeah.
Where you get the bomb, I believe.
Sure. I can't remember where all the things are, but I do remember there being an NPC who speaks gibberish at you and then jumps into the fire. That stuck in my mind.
Yes. And I kind of assumed that would go somewhere to a mini story, mini resolution thing, but it seems like, I don't know, just the one particular thing of like, we rewrote our nature and now we just worship the flames or something. That's it. Yeah. That's all she wrote.
Yeah, the story is self-contained in that room entirely, but
yeah,
I don't know. It was a neat little bit of flavor, but that's kind of all you can expect from a game of this scale. Like, they only had 8 hours, if you're good, to tell the story. So, what can I say?
Yeah. Did you have any?
Just one last gripe, I guess. Again, like, the game wasn't long enough for it to really grate on me, but I did find the combat was kind of losing its luster by the end, just because, for the most part, it's just your sword, and you don't really get any upgrades to its ability to kill, so enemies kind of always take just a little too long.
Yeah, I felt that more with the regular enemies than the bosses, which we haven't talked about that much about the bosses.
Yeah. Mostly because they're, I don't know, like, I wouldn't say they're generic. They're, like, each design is unique, even if the aesthetically they all kind of follow a pattern of, it is a piece of machinery, some sort of tool that you find in a factory that has a white screen with a skull man on it because it's corrupted.
Yeah.
But,
and, like, I generally found them fun. Like, they hit that good space of, oh, this is dodgeable if I just do better.
Yeah. Like,
right?
I was fine going in with 0, scrap, just because, well, if I die, I don't lose anything, but otherwise, let's see if I can, just do well enough at it. And, like, Haiku's not the most quick maneuverable, like, say, the Hollow Knight, but, enough dash here or there and pogoing and just laying into him with your sword is while dodging. It's great. I don't know. It's a fun time. It's nothing like that blew me out of the water, but
yeah, I agree. It doesn't really evolve.
That's the thing, is that it is always just swing your sword as fast as possible at it, and just it has a good big circular arc, but that's about it. And so a lot of the smaller enemies, like, you just don't get rid of because they all take too long to kill.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that when you defeat one of the creators that your sword is actually powering up. But then
yeah.
I was looking at like the number of times that I hit to kill, and I'm not sure that it was actually ever increasing.
Not that I could see.
Decreasing number of hits to kill.
Yeah. As far as I could tell, no increase at all. Like, it's hard to say because I was also had the crit charm, and maybe I'm just not paying attention to when it was and was not pinging, because it has a unique sound effect when it does, but occasionally you got other things on your mind. Regardless, yeah, every time you beat a major boss, like there's a whole cutscene, and what your reward from that is, 1, progression towards the end, and 2, your sword gets a little light pip in it. And it apparently does nothing mechanically, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Because I would have liked to have gone through like previous areas and just started like just laying waste, not even stopping, just swing, bop. That's one of the joys of this genre, is going back to an old area and seeing how strong you are now, and that kind of didn't happen.
Yeah, although you definitely feel that with the like maneuverability, going back to an old area and being like, oh, I can just zip line around now.
Zip line, speedball, you got a saw blade, so you don't even have to worry about running into enemies.
Yeah.
That's good. It's just that I wish I was a master of combat. But no, you're just a dude who has 3 unique sword swings, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but that's really kind of the only problems I had, other than it being kind of similar to other games, which we've already discussed, but I don't like. That's just, cribbing some good design is probably better than doing something bad just because. And I thought that its unique limited color palette for each like zone and just for the game in general did give it a very unique style.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked the art. I don't know, they used colors well.
Yeah. Even if the zones themselves only like mildly differentiate themselves, I do think like having specific colors delineate them, even if they're fairly similar, it was nice. It was a nice aesthetic. I enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah, funnily enough, I feel like Haiku himself is one of the weaker designs in terms of like he kind of just looks like a circle with legs.
Yeah, he is. He is the Orbot. Like I forget. I can't even almost picture what he looks like except when he's cranking it. So,
and like some of the designs, like I liked how the electric ones were like almost techno-organic, right? Because you've got like the light bulbs that are also sort of a fly kind of thing. There's also the scissor butterflies.
Oh man. In the plant zone, because they're supposed to be, pruning the plants, but now they're flying blades at you.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the like using like industrial hardware as inspiration for the designs of these things was neat.
Yeah, they definitely took this concept to a bunch of logical extremes, which I appreciated. Like, surface level, they look kind of similar, but I think they did a lot with very little, which, you kind of have to do with a one-person team.
Yeah.
Like, it was honestly kind of impressive. And also the fact that those electric enemies kind of change in their aggression once the electricity is turned back on in that zone.
No, I did not notice.
Yeah, the light bulbs are like kind of like it's just a light bulb, but I can't describe it as anything other than angrier. It's they start sparking red and will fly at you a bit more, or maybe that's just my mind playing tricks on me, since that's how that area is for most of the game, because you do that pretty early. Regardless,
I don't know. Maybe I forgot already what they were afterward.
Listen, it was like 19 hours ago, so Regardless, I think that will just about do it. Haiku, pretty good, but how good is it? Tom, over to you.
I mean, I liked it. So the difficult question is like, did I like it enough to put it up with other hits, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, I felt like it was very good at the experience, right?
Oh.
It's not particularly innovative, but this is a list of things that are fun to play.
Yep.
as the primary motivator, right?
Yeah, and you love Hollow Knight. It's your favorite game of all time, so obviously its children will rank pretty highly.
It is definitely, like, Hollow Knight is at the top still. So, I don't know. I mean, this is probably going to be controversial regardless of where I put it, I guess. I just had a lot of fun with it. Why not? I'm going to put it above Symphony of the Night in the new number 5 slot.
That's so wild. What are you doing?
Like,
listen.
Look, this is a list of I had fun with these games, not this game was hugely influential to the genre.
Yeah, I know.
This would be very different if it was about influentialness, and a lot of the ones that were at the bottom would probably be much higher if it was about the influentialness list. So yeah, I'm gonna put it at my new number 5.
That's wild.
How about you?
As long you didn't put it above Unsighted, in which case I would fly to fucking wherever you are and fist fight you for supremacy. So this is I can understand this, even if I don't necessarily agree. But yeah, number 5, just under Unsighted, above Symphony.
Yep.
For me, I did enjoy it, but all of those things were asterisks of, yeah, it's good for what it is, and the fact that I've already played other games and it's better than replaying those. I'm currently looking at Astalon, and I think Astalon was a more interesting game for me, which is at number 10, but I think it paces itself better than Guacamelee, which is at 11, so I'm going to put it right between the two.
I mean, I also agree that Astalon is better than Haiku. We just have different positions of Astalon, I guess.
Very much so, yes. Again, a lot of these things are yeah, I like pretty much every game on this list. It's just trying to figure out, okay, what's important to me.
Yeah.
And what's important at the time, and the fact that it's definitely better than Xanadu. Oh. But
maybe someday we'll play something that we think is worse than Xanadu.
I very much doubt it'll be next week, because I'm bringing us a game that is pretty well regarded and also fairly recent. It depends on how much of a fan you are of the anime. This is Record of Lodos War, Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth.
I've never actually noticed anything of the anime, so I'm coming in completely blind. I've heard the name, mostly attached to other video games.
Yeah, I think this might be a sprawling media project. I confess I'm not very well versed on the anime either, or I assume it's also a manga. But apparently this game is real good, and it looked pretty good, and it's by a studio that had some pedigree, I think, with the Toho Luna Nights game. But we're not playing that because Toho is a quagmire that I don't want to get into right now. That's later. For now, we're playing Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth and potentially researching what the hell a Lodos War is. Yes.
All right. Yeah, wrapping us up.
Sure.
We have various social media, so if you want to engage with that, that's cool. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we're at Inverted Castle P. You can send us an email at invertedcastlepodcast@gmail.com. You want to help us out, you could share us on your social media of choice or rate and review us on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, right. Yeah, I never tell people to review because I'm scared.
No, what will they say?
If you give a 5-star review, I will read it on air, no matter what it says.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's a commitment that you're making?
No.
And I do have a haiku to take us out.
Oh, well, leave it to us. I've been Eric Fox.
I'm Thomas Blake. And all things come to an end. Or, damn it. I already screwed up the meter. I'm adding words from what I wrote.
That's fine.
All things come to end. Games, seasons, episodes 2. Till we meet again.